Hey everyone, it's Doug Devitre, author of Screen to Screen Selling, and today we're going to talk about the new apps that are available at the St. Louis County Library Clark location. They have a brand new studio. In fact, I'm going to give us just a little bit of introduction as far as what's there, and this is going to be found on my Substack blog that I've been posting to recently. So if you get a chance to go to this post, New Trends in Learning and Development, um, with Doug Devitre, you'll see that I have a post, the new Mecca for entrepreneurship and STEM learning in St. Louis. And I have to tell you, after homeschooling my son successfully this last year, uh, investing in many different tools in order to run my own business, and then investing in the time and the money to take courses to learn how to use all these apps, it can be completely overwhelming, especially if you're on a limited budget. So as we take a look inside, here's a little fun resume my son made in Canva. This is a flyer we did for a library apps workshop where he actually created the handout for it. So that was pretty cool. But I'm just going to kind of scroll through here to see some of the pictures inside of here. So this is a virtual meeting space. Um, this is another one of the rooms, call it a Zoom room, if you will, that you have a TV where you can plug in to have that extra monitor. So if you're working from a laptop and you have additional people and you want to go live with it, you have that option. This is scanning and digitization studio, where if you have a book, you can scan, um, a page and then send it to yourself by email. This was a fun room where we actually went and recorded some videos, and I think just getting started with some of these new apps and tools and trying to figure it out is a journey in itself. But um, go there, check it out, try it out, and let me know what you think. Now, I used to play drums growing up in school, and this is so cool because this is an electronic drum set. And what's really neat about some of the tools they have in here is that there's a studio that you can connect to be able to record that music, digitize it, and then take it over to one of the computers and actually work on producing your own specific tracks. So I thought that to be really fascinating. Here's a green screen studio that they have that it's still work in progress, but it's going to be one of these situations where people are going to be starting to book this room. I think you get it for 2 hours at a time, and then this space was really designed for teens ages 12 and up. So I know that they are allowing adults and then kids under 12 go during those non-peak times. Here's a look inside the mixing studio that they have. This is the area where you can call it a makerspace, if you will. So they have 3D printers where you can design some of the objects that you want to print in advance, or if you let's say you want to make a poster for your business or you want to make flyers, they have all the software that's I thought was pretty awesome. This is what it looks like from the outside looking in. So once you go up to the second floor, you'll see the object computing creative lab. Um, and this, and then I've got one more where I want to show you the library apps. Now, I actually went and took a picture of this. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. So this is the software that they have that's installed on each one of the Mac computers, right? So traditionally, the computers inside of the library were Windows based. Now they have Mac computers that work really well with if you're a creator or you're running a business and you're familiar with the Mac operating system. So really, what I did is I took a picture of all of the different apps, and then I asked myself, okay, well, my son is starting to he's already learned the Google Suite, right? He's already made so he's Google Sheets to track his volunteer hours for the food bank. He's made his handout for the library apps in Google Docs. And also one of the learning exercises that I have him do some at times is to go to Chat GPT and then create his own learning plan, and that's something that we're going to do today. And so with some of the things that ChatGPT will crank out, he will actually go in and copy and paste that, put it to Google Doc, we'll print it off, we'll discuss it. I had him type in prompting in ChatGPT 100 personal values. And when he did that, right, he printed it off, and then we started to circle it. So one of his personal values was honesty, family, and achievement. So that was pretty neat. Now from this screenshot, then I asked myself, okay, which of the software that is there that he will be able to use? So I made a little list. So Go.Engine is one of the apps that you can learn to use to produce your own games, right? So when you think about the games I used to play as a kid. Now there's software where you can go in and makes it really easy to make your own game. And Go.Engine is an example of one of them. Another one is Kindle Create. Now, let's see if I can pull this up here on Amazon. Amazon, because this is what we made in a couple of years ago was the 101 homeschooling activities in St. Louis. So there it is. This was an ebook that we made together using the app Kindle Create. So then the question now becomes is, well, how do you use this native app? We're going to go into creating some curriculum for that. Now, CryCut is someone that's really cool. I'm actually going to click on this so we can look at this together. This is if you go to Michael's, right? Michael's arts and crafts store, you can now see where you can buy some of the supplies for this. You can buy some of the tools. Well, this is where it gets overwhelming for me as a parent, right? Because you feel like you have to buy everything. Well, gosh, go to the library, create your own account, right? Or it's not Cricut, it's actually called Cricut. Go to Cricut, create an account, design whatever you want, and then you can take it to the studio for them to print. And then the folks, the team at the Clark family branch, are super helpful when it comes to making sure that you take your idea and you put it into practice. So Cricut, it's not Cricut, it's Cricut. I was corrected today. Pro Tools, oh man. So you think about making that music, making your own music with the guitar, with the drums, digital keyboard. Pro Tools is the professional uh, audio editing software, and you might be familiar with Audacity if you've made podcasts in them before. Well, Pro Tools is designed for musicians, so it's definitely something that's worth taking a look at. Now, Blender is really interesting. This is where you're able to create 3D worlds, which also can kind of be used for gaming and so forth. But when you think about, let's say, if you wanted to design some sort of virtual environment for your office, or you wanted to design some sort of way where people can, you can take an idea and then design it in the way that you want specifically. Blender is a really cool tool to do that. Um, now uh, for music, if you if you're a singer, right, or you're trying to hit that specific note, Melodyne is one of these audio editing apps that helps you create music. Now, it's a little bit different from Pro Tools. I'd say Pro Tools is a little bit more advanced, but this will make sure that you hit those notes as you're supposed to. And the app is called Melodyne. A couple more, and actually, this is not on here, QGIS, but we might talk about that if we have a little bit more time. This is the one that I recommended to them. This is an open source software to create mapping for geospatial intelligence. Um, it's open source, it's free. They talk in St. Louis. There's this huge. I think the city made a $1 billion investment in the new National Spatial Intelligence Agency, which is second to the one in DC. Um, QJS is an open source software. I skipped Adobe Premiere Pro. If you went and bought this tool, it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's now on these library apps for free. So what we can do here is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step back here, and what I ask you to type a comment. I want to figure out, okay, out of these different apps that are available, which ones do you specifically want to learn more about? And then that way we can take a deep dive into that one specifically. But again, I'm just going to kind of pick based upon the ones that I think might be most beneficial and that anybody realistically can implement. So in the comments, if you take a minute, At least say hello. I'd love to know who's joining in. Um, and if not, we'll get back into it. So I'll go to Kindle Create. Now, if you consider yourself to be an author or you want to get yourself published, it's a fairly simple process. You'll have to design a manuscript. You might want to be able to put images, but really there's a tool, an app called Kindle Create that helps you do this. Now the question now becomes is okay, well let's say I want to personalize my own curriculum as it relates to Kindle Create. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to ChatGPT. This is kind of my go-to when it comes to just kind of creating ideas. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, what are I got the all caps on. Take that off. What are 10 different zoom that in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. What are 10 different ebooks I can create in Kindle Create that would show my love for the greater St. Louis region? Okay. So that's just this kind of a simple thing to kind of go through. We can make a book about a historical tour of St. Louis. We can make a St. Louis food guide. We can make a St. Louis architecture book, outdoor adventures in St. Louis, famous figures, family fun, the sports scene. And if you want, type something in the chat, and we'll dig in and make something. But let's check out. Okay, so the hidden gems in St. Louis. So I'm gonna say create a book outline of the hidden gems in St. Louis that uh, where families can take their kids for fun and learning. Okay. Now imagine it would probably go ahead and pull out the favorites, right? Magic House, St. Louis Children's Museum, the Science Center, museum. That's kind of a cool one. That's in Chesterfield. Forest Park, City Garden, um, Gateway Arch, and see how they have chapters with historical sites and landmarks. And you can kind of see going. It just keeps going on and on and on. I don't know how many chapters this thing is going to do, and then it has dependencies. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is say I'm going to convert this to a table, and what it's going to do is take the content that's in here, right, and then it's going to make this nifty little table. And then once it's done, I'm going to take this information. It's going to copy this. And then I'm going to open up a brand new Google Sheet. Take this first row. I'm going to left justify it. I'm going to click all these columns here just so I get the spacing right. This is the details. Okay. Now, see where it says overview here. I don't know if I necessarily like that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this, take it back over here to ChatGPT, and then say remove the word overview. See that? That way we clean it up a little bit. And if you've ever done this in the past, it could just take you hours trying to figure out how to do this correctly on Microsoft Excel or even Google Sheets. That's why ChatGPT comes in handy, is because it's kind of your own little nifty tool here. So now that we have this, copy this, come back to here, paste. Okay, so now that's a lot cleaner, right? That's a lot cleaner. So what we have here are, um, we need to clean this up a little bit. So this is going to be the introduction. Oops. So we've got that one. So all this is chapter one. All this is chapter two. All this is chapter three. All of this is chapter four. All of this is chapter five. Chapter six, seven, appendices, acknowledgement. So column A with chapter, that is finished. Add this, and then we're just going to fill this in so that way we make sure all of our, excuse me, all of our information is complete, right? We're just dragging this on the corner of sheets. We'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. I like to make sounds when I when I make these things. All right, and then we're gonna call this. What are we calling this? We're calling this the. Let's see, it's in the way. What is the name of this thing? Okay, titled "Hidden Gems of St. Louis." Okay, so remove the word title. There. Okay, so now this is going to be the basis for this specific book, right? So now we're going to have fun. We're actually going to design this book. We're going to go to Canva, and then remind me the Kindle create file, pixel size, image, book. Okay. That is for cover. Let's see. I forget the file size. We can actually go back and we'll just create a design. We'll make a presentation view. Now we're going to actually make this book. Okay. So, so this is going to be, let's go back here. So we have chapter, we have the title, we have the sections. Make sure we've got this there. Details. Okay, so I have really, this is going to be the page number. And I'm going to leave this blank just because that kind of looks awkward. So I'm gonna leave that blank and then title here. So what we have here in Google Sheets is variables in language, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this into a book, and we're going to design this into Canva, right? So we've got that. We've got this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to delete this, and we're going to go to design, and then we're going to find some sort of template that's going to look kind of like a book, right? So we'll go to this. We'll add this there. So we already have the template made for us. So this right here is going to be the section. Okay. So back here, this is going to be the section. This right here is going to be the details. I'll make that a little bit bigger. And when making these little ebooks, you want to make sure that you have at least 32. and then we'll go from there. So then we're going to get rid of this. This is going to be um, bookurl.com. And you know what? We're going to left justify that. Going to move this over here. And then we're going to add a page number. Just put 1 for right now. Zoom in a little bit so that's just right. And what's cool about Canva is that you can actually get it right on the money here. Move this because for our for our page number, we have acknowledgments, right? So what I like to do is I like to take the biggest size text. That way I can resize it. I want this to be a left, or excuse me, right justified. There. That way it will always be the minimum, or excuse me, it'll fit the maximum of that. Now we'll make this 32 as well. And so that will always be there. There. Okay, what else are we missing here? Title. So title is the last one. Move that. We'll copy that. So this is the title. What's the largest size they have for the title? Once you double click this size, then come here. Doop. And then back here. Boom. All right, there we go. So we won't need this line spacer after all. And I'm not going to play with the fonts at all, except I'm going to make this bold. See how that makes that a little bit bigger? Okay. Oops. Here we go. And then there. Okay, so now what's the biggest size for this? So details. It's going to be this one. Copy this. Put it over here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Because that's going to be the maximum size, right? And then we're going to make sure that it is kind of right there in the middle. There we go. Take this. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Section. What is the biggest for the section? Oops. Children's Museum. Here. Here. Okay, that's a little bit too big. So we'll just make that. Boom. All right, there we go. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna export this file, download, comma separated value, and then I'm gonna go to so this is now becomes a variable language that then is gonna populate this right here. Okay. So then we need to go to on Canva. There's this option called bulk create. We're going to click this. We're going to upload data. Going to go to the St. Louis Hidden Gems. So now, okay, here we go. Sections. So I'm going to right click on this text, connected data, and then I'm going to choose details. And sometimes it's easier to see this. So chapter is going to be the kind of the page number on the bottom right. So we'll go back here. This is going to be page number, connect to data, chapter, Magic House. What was that under? Section. So Magic House is section, connected data, section. So we've got sections, data. You can see on the left-hand side, we need to get a little bit more here. So titled, I think this is titled. Let me just double check. Title, yep, that's right. This is title, connected data, title. Anything else we're missing? Nope, that's it. So really what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to use the same default image. But then when you think about, okay, this is something that these are places I've already been to, I can upload my own photos. So click continue. Generate 28 designs. Okay. So there, now we have, no thanks. This is a whole new file. So now we're going to call this, what was it called again? What did I do with it? Yeah, Hidden Gems of St. Louis. So we're just going to rename this file. There we go. And then I might invest some time into resizing each one of these to make sure that, or I might, let's say I want to add another column of data, and I want to make sure that the formatting is going to be optimized for each one. You know how long it normally would take to be able to make something like this? I mean, it would take weeks, months to be able to do that, in addition to making the pictures. So this is a quick way to be able to if I just, let's say I have everything correct, then I can download, and then I can, once I download this from Canva, then I can upload it right to the Kindle Create software. So then if I go back to ChatGPT and I ask, okay, so what are the top features I need to learn to publish an image book on Kindle Create? So the difference between this type of learning versus other types of learning, let's say if you go to Kindle Create and try to go through their web as a user interface and then try to figure out the differences between you doing yourself versus doing it through Kindle Create, as you see it through a different lens. And when you see it through a different lens in a way that you've generated yourself and that you've customized it for the way that you want the output to be, it becomes a whole lot easier to be able to implement. So then if I just said convert to table, we do the same exact thing that we did for the book, right? So as this is starting to make these things, do you see how it has so interactive TOC, and then it has the text right after that? So if this is the description, once this is finished, I'm going to say create a new column with the description header separate from the description. Let's see if it does that. There we go. So that's a whole lot easier to read, and that's a whole lot easier for you to be able to implement. This is just Kindle Create, right? So let's pretend now I say, okay, create. Let's find another one of these library apps here that we can play with. So Cricket. This is one that I'm excited about playing with. So I'm just going to copy the website right here. And then I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to say, create a list of 10 different, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a new chat GPT here. Create a list of 10 different projects I can make with just paste the URL, hit enter. So you can make T-shirts, you can make greeting cards, you can make wall decals, personalized mugs. Now, if you're doing this at the library, I might want to check in advance to make sure that they have the supplies, because if you design something and then they say, "Oh, we just don't have that capability," then you've wasted a lot of time making a design that you can't print. So, just something to think about. Now, I haven't played with it enough to know, but I'm just saying this is how you can go about doing this. Now, if these are 10 different things that you can make, then I'll ask your ChatGPT, okay, so what are the features inside of Cricut that I need to learn in order to make these designs, right? Because I would recommend creating your account on Cricut and then going to the library to then print it off. So you've already printed it off, and if you have to do any last minute things, you can do it from the computer there. So what this says is you have the Cricut design space, you have canvas, you have images, you have text, you have shapes. And I know just when you go sometimes to the website and their portal, their learning modules, it can just be a very overwhelming because there's a lot of distractions. There might be ads, squirrel, right? So this kind of is a basic outline for you to be able to follow. Now, when I say then, it says convert to table. Okay, cool. So feature, tool, description. So what I might do then here too, just because that is a little bit, once this is finished moving, so then I might say, separate the column. What is that called? Um, the feature tool heading from the feature and create a new column for it. Boop. Okay, so now that's going to be a whole lot easier to use. And then if you wanted to follow the same process that I use for Kindle Create, where you're just dragging it all the way down, or you're dragging it to fill in the different columns. And if you want to create your own resource, you'd be able to do that. Okay, so now we're going to go to Cricut and say, okay, what are what would be some fun designs you can make that show your love for St. Louis and uh, that you could potentially sell in an online store? So now we're going to get a little bit deeper here. So there we go. Several different examples, and I'll say convert. Uh, what are some examples of stationery you can create for your business using Cricut? Um, while it's typing here, I'm just going to say make this specific to let's pick an area. Let's pick Normandy, because we love our friends in Normandy. There we go. So now we have iconic landmarks in Normandy, such as the Mont Saint Michel or the D-Day beaches. Um, these are just business cards, right, that you can make with Normandy motifs. Um, convert to table. So we're not only are we creating curriculum, but we're creating ideas, and then we're going to be able to organize it and manage it in a way that's super useful. So let's say we just take this. Let's say we just take this right here, stationary item. We create a new spreadsheet, and then boop, double click that. Double click that. We are going to left justify this. Cool. So now we're going to, this is going to be called, what did we call this? Normandy gifts. And then we're going to file and we're going to download this into a CSV. So as that's downloading, then we're going to go to a fun tool that I absolutely love. I can't recommend it enough. Let's see where I did with it because I've got so many of these apps open. Just going to open it up. Airtable and library apps. So Airtable is a tool. I'll include a link so you can check it out for yourself. But ultimately, we're just going to boop. Let's see if we can do this. Does it work? Yes. And then we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Doop. Make this bigger. We're going to change this edit field. We're going to call this cost or no price. The field type we're going to use is currency. Save. We're going to add a field to the left. We're going to call this cost. So price and cost are two different things, right? So this is going to how much it costs to create each unit. Move this around. So the cost, the price. We'll delete this first row because we don't need it. So Normandy theme business cards. This is what we have here: the cost, price, and then we are going to also need the a file, right? So this is why in creating curriculum or creating content, the way to be able to organize it, it's extremely important that you look at a different tool other than Excel or other than Google Sheets, because Excel or Sheets does not have the ability to add an attachment. So if I wanted, once I created my design or my scotch, my my mock-up, right, I can upload the file image to be able to see this. So then let's pretend if I have, okay, so this is going to be I'm just going to do the cost for each one is going to be 5. Okay. Now I know that this is where you would have to ask each, go in and ask, okay, well, how much is it going to cost for me to print this type of thing? And that's where you would add it in, right? Then you figure out what the price is going to be. So let's just put $10 for that. Okay. And then the image, we're not going to add an image. And then for status, you can actually go in and change these. So this is to do, this is in progress. This one's done. You can actually go in and change these columns. So let's pretend you have this already set up and then you wanted to create your kind of your online store for somebody to look at. Then you can click on the gallery view. So this is going to say store. Now we have our store. And if we had a website, embed this view, now we have our store that we can copy and paste and put inside of a website for people to look at. Now, let's pretend if we had, if we wanted to come back here, because we're using the same data here. We wanted to create products, URL. This is going to be a URL. So that way in this field here, this is going to be the web page of what the store that you have that's built. And then you could also say, okay, well, I need my design URL. That's going to be URL. And gang, I'm just playing here. So, go ahead and type in the comments if you want to see me do something different, but I'm just totally playing with some of the possibilities. So once you go into Cricut and you design the product and you want somebody else to maybe look at it, then you can create different types of views to be able to share with others. So if I go to the store here, you might not necessarily share every one of those columns, and you can actually go in and filter out specific columns for different types of views. I mean, look how fast that you can make something like that. And then let's go back here and then so this is the if you click on each one, this is the notes. So then if I went back here to ChatGPT and then I said create the marketing copy to sell each one of these products in my online store. So while it's doing that, so what I don't like about this is that it didn't convert it to the table, because it's the table formatting that makes it super easy for me to go in and change um, however I want to be able to convert it to the right format. So once this is done, I'm going to say, okay, create a table with this information and remove the quotes inside of the copy. Boop. Okay, so we already have this, right? We already have the stationary item. And so as it's doing this, once it's finished, right? I'm just going to grab everything from the table here. Whoop. I'm going to go back here. Now, I'm going to open up a new sheet. So CSV sheet 1, sheet 2. I'm just going to paste that in there, and then I'm only going to grab this column and then come back here, and then I'm going to create this as its own new column. Doop. And then not only am I going to do that, but I'm going to go back to Airtable. Whoop. In the grid in the grid view, I'm going to create another one called marketing copy. And this is going to be a long text create field. Boop. Oh wait, no. Now what it didn't do, or what I should have done here, get rid of that, is I don't need the heading in that, right? So then once we come back here, la 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 la. So there we go. So we can't see it. We'll make this a little bit wider. We'll take this, make it a little taller. So now we can see more of it. And then for our store, so we click on this, you can see where it says the marketing copy. Now, this is great just to be able to upload, to create a CSV for your store instead of having to upload each one of the items individually. If you've ever created an online store like that, you know how tedious it can be. Um, so so there you go. Now let's pretend I wanted to create a website for this. I like this app called CodePen. I'm just going to go to create a new pen. This is create a website. So I'll go to ChatGPT, and then I'll say create the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files for a mobile responsive web uh, uh, online store that has a menu and for products. We'll just do that. We'll just do this. See what we get. For Normandy gifts. Doop. So here we go. ChatGPT is making this. And again, this could be anything, right? And it actually takes everything that you had before. Now, we just take this, copy code, go to CodePen, paste in the HTML. There it is. Then we go to ChatGPT and copy code for the CS. So HTML is the content layer. This is just mainly the text that appears. The CSS is the presentation layer. This is what makes it pretty. So once I paste this in here, we'll look how pretty it's going to look. Doop. I guess I don't know. We could make it look. We could spend a little bit more time. doing that. But then, okay, so then the JavaScript, where are we at? JavaScript. Doop. There we go. Now we're going to come back to Airtable. This is the embed for the store, this code, and then we're going to put it in the HTML. And I don't like it how it has this here, the section ID for business cards. We are just going to take this and edit this out. Oot. Boom. That work? There we go. Now we've got a web. Now we have just the essentials of making a website, and we could really just host it ourselves. Um, um, as we go through the process. Now, you can go in and edit this however you want, but just see how easy it is to be able to do this all from starting off with whatever one of these apps that you want to do. So um, we can do another one of these for, let's say, Go.engine. So I've got a lot of these tabs open, but I'm going to create a new chat. Create learning resource guide for Go.engine. So again, Go.engine is the tool that you can use to make your own game, almost like your own Mario Brothers, right? Convert to table. Oops. There we go. Okay, what games, example games, can I create to show my love for living, working, and playing in St. Louis? You know what? We'll change this up. Florissant. Here we go. So this would be so that's kind of tough to see. Convert to table. Is that done? Yeah, that's done. Convert to table. So I'm just going to use this at actually, you know what? This Florida Tycoon thing was kind of fun. Create the list of steps required to build out this game in GoBot engine. Here we go. And then while this thing is going here, I just want to remind you that each one of these apps itself has its own YouTube channel, right? So you actually can watch the videos that either the channel, the app provider has created for you, or you can take an online course on how to do that specifically. Now, one thing that was really cool about the library that they had set up is that you can actually go in and learn some of this stuff in Udemy. Now, I don't remember. Udemy is, here we go. So let's say a GoBot engine. Here we go. So you can actually take this course, and you see the URL up here. It's actually kind of hard to see, but at the very top it says gale.udemy.com/organization search, and then it gives you the search results. Now, one thing that's different about this account on Udemy versus the account that's on the library is that when you sign in with your library card number and your password, you get access to all the Udemy courses for free. Now, I've spent thousands of dollars on Udemy courses over the years. I can't remember how many that I have, but it's pretty significant. And with these, you can kind of earn certificates. And if you're an educator too, you can go ahead and create your own course on Udemy. But ultimately, you'd be able to watch kind of a sequential step by step for this. And then as it comes to here, these are the steps. Convert to table. And now this becomes much more actionable than starting of, okay, well, where do I even begin? So as long as you have a series of different prompts that walk you through what your first step is, what your second step is, and then when you go to an online resource like Udemy to be able to follow that process, it's going to be a whole lot easier to take your idea and then put it into action. So let's see. See how this, so I don't like this. It's kind of hard to, you see how it says this BR here. It gives you, this is a little bit too much for me. So what I want to do is separate the, if I can spell it, separate the what is it called? What's the column heading called? Description into tasks, each with their own column. Awesome. Now, if I wanted to go to, let's say, if I want to go to Canva and make my own resource for it and be able to show how people in my classroom would be able to do that, watch the beginning of the replay and then you'll see kind of how to start to do that for yourself. So you can make slides, you can make images of these different steps, you can share different steps along the journey. So if this is a 10-week program or a 12-week program, you can have an image or a visual that reinforces each one of these things, and then built out your own curriculum from scratch, which in my opinion, when you create your own curriculum, it increases the likelihood that you'll be able to implement. Now, one of the things I want to encourage you to do, because what I'm sharing with you are a lot of different tools here that are really leading the way as far as how organizations can start to create their own curriculum or how schools can create their own curriculum. So what I would encourage you to do, I should go here, is if you pull out your phone, what I'd recommend doing is scanning this QR code. And this is kind of like having access to the bat line. Now, what I've started to do is write articles onto Substack and that share some of the new trends, and not just the trends itself, but how you can actually take action in implementing one of these trends as it relates to your own specific business or own specific school. I mean, each one of these times that we're creating content, we are doing virtual programs and we're also doing in-person programs as well. So coming up on August 9th at 10 a.m., we're going to be doing a program at the Clark Family Branch at the St. Louis County Library on again, this is going to be live in person. And what we might do too, depending upon how it's set up and how many people are interested in this, we might even do a hybrid type of environment. And I'll show you too. This Anybody who is really considering creating an environment, right, where you want to do these hybrid types of events. This is a post that just went live today. Next generation presentation technology and techniques for hybrid environments. Now, if you're a professor, if you're a teacher, if you're a professional speaker, we know that there's a lot more demands now on us to be able to engage people, whether they're inside the room or they're virtual. So what this does is this gives you a sneak peek as far as um, the different hardware requirements that you might need, and there are links to these specific products for you to be able to consider. Many of these are what I already use. So scroll down here, software requirements, right? So you not only need to buy the tools, but you also need to operate the software for each one of these. Um, that's to be considered. Your internet speed is also a huge factor if you're doing hybrid environments, because if it goes down, then you've just lost 50 seats. They just vanished. Boom, they're gone. Um, your skills, right? Your skills as a speaker are in content creation and in the delivery of that content. And in the delivery of that content, we have so many more tools that we have to be able to use, more so than just a flip chart in front of the room. So I'll give you a list of these different things, also with a slide presentation that we used in order to give you um, a deeper dive into how to be able to create this type of environment on really a teacher's budget, right? So, several years ago, I used to market myself as free, cheap, and easy. Well, started to get that was kind of a joke, right? But really, like, the technology was free, very affordable, and also easy to implement. So, as long as if you're curious, you're willing to make mistakes, and try things, right? So that's how you start to get good at this stuff, is just by trying it. So what the good thing about this doing this live is that we also have the replay available for you to be able to watch. This is the program we're doing right now. It's live. It's linked to it. So what I would recommend doing is um, go to Substack here. Let me pull this back up. Sorry. And I recommend subscribing to this blog. So if you've been following my work for years, you know that I've had a WordPress blog that, gosh, since 2008. We end up ending that in 2022, because really the focus in the last couple of years has been working with my son and giving him some of a firsthand look at doing some of these things himself, right? As far as my son goes, Harry, he's it's been a delight to be able to work with him. Now, really, when you think about children inside of the classroom, many times that they're given, I'll pull this up so this is just a little bit easier to see. um, Many times that children are exposed to different types of tools. Really, what I'm recommending is that you find a way to make it personal for them. So what it got him really excited about using some of these tools was he loved to play Minecraft, right? So that's when we started to learn how to program a Raspberry Pi. We created a YouTube channel. We would go to the library when he was 5, and I taught him how to check out books using his library card, the print station. I'll never forget when the first word put in the search engine for the library was Minecraft. There was he found 216 books, and as I walked away, he checked out 85, 83 of them. So that became another conversation with personal responsibility. You know, Gang, inside of this hour that I've tried to share with you are a lot of different tools, a lot of different ways that you can think about building your own curriculum, whether you're an enterprise organization, whether you're a school, whether you're a professional speaker, right? There's so many different ways to be able to tackle this. My goal or my hopes is that you're exposed to a lot of these different trends. So long. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to subscribe to Substack, because that's where I'm going to be, I guess, releasing some of the greatest hits when it comes to what you can do to implement some of these ideas in your practice. Hope you all have an awesome day. We'll see you next time on the live show. Take care.